Good morning. We're going to take a few more minutes so that everyone can grab their coffee and basically have a really good time. So we're just going to take about 3-4 more minutes so that we get all our participants on there. Good morning to our guests, Rohit and Toleen. Thank you, Heba and Sangeeta. Good morning. Thank you, Heba and Sangeeta. Could you please be so kind, Heba, could you make me host again? A hostess with the mostest. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. I saw that Heba already started recording us. Usually we wait a few more minutes, but that's great. We might as well jump right in. It's a gorgeous day, so I don't see why we shouldn't jump right in. And Sangeeta says, good morning to all the panelists. Sangeeta is our she's, I want to say, a little lurker in the background, but she's much more than that. So just in case you have any troubles getting on, we've got amazing Sangeeta and Heba that will help you with anything. Sometimes you might need to use the password and just go for it. Yes, we're looking. Oh, Sangeeta just told you. I just read it on the chat for you, Rohit and Toleen. Sangeeta says she's really looking forward to hearing this, and I am too. So I hope everyone is having a good time. Let's give them a few more minutes because everyone is strolling on fantastically. So, and if you have any questions, please go ahead. You can already start writing them in the chat because maybe there's some questions you want to ask ahead of time before you hear the discussions. We were more than happy to, if it's something that's really pertinent in that moment, we will be more than happy to state them to our speakers today. So let's see how we're doing with our numbers. Okay, I think, you know what, do you mind, everyone, if we start? Is that okay? As we said, ladies first, okay? So Toleen, I hope you can hear me, see me. I hope the connection's good today. I want to thank you so much for coming back and continuing this journey with us. As you may know, some of you may know, we've had the pleasure of having Toleen with one of our other members and guests to speak with us. Toleen is an executive master coach and founder of the Executive Monk Coaching. With her over 20 years of experience, we found that she helps alignment through aligning the personal goals and values of an organization. She obviously works with individuals. She's working with us as a group, as we're doing today. And with all her experience also of strategic marketing and managing teams, social media, customer service, oh my goodness, customer loyalty programs, team projects, and presentation research. So you've got the whole gambit, and a lovely, homegrown from Montreal, I believe. So is that the truth? So you go ahead.
Actually,
and tell me.
It's between Montreal and Toronto. Toronto is actually what I call home, but that's where I actually was. I'm an alumni of Concordia University, so Montreal. Yeah.
I went to OCAD University, so there you go. I'm Toronto artsy fartsy all the way. Well, on that note, I guess maybe we're giving you way too much information today, girls and boys, but we love to do so. This is a very sharing platform. So as you know, we're recording this. Oh God, there's another Torontonian there. Thanks. We got all these Torontonians. Yo, I guess is that what we're gonna do. But we want you to know this is one of those learning platforms, sharing platforms. It is our way of giving back, okay? This is so important at this time, well, at any time, but this is extremely important at this time because the self-isolation, the isolation, we want to shorten the distance, and we're shortening the gap. So thank you again, Rohit. Thank you again, Toleen. Thank you again also all our CBC members, staff, friends, anyone that showed up. It is absolutely amazing. We will also, if you don't mind, sorry guys, I'm playing with a new device today because the other device was being a little bit devicey. If that's what I want, if there's such a word. Okay. So what we're going to do, we do happen to have a few polls in between. So if you could be so kind, it's really few questions. It'll just help direct the conversation correctly. If anyone wants to later on, we will be registering this. It's going to be a recording, and if the recording works out well, we like to put it online because there's some facets that you might like to relook at. You can put it on maybe with earphones while you're doing some yoga, or I don't know, some stretching or cooking or whatever it's going to be. Probably anything indoors, stay home. And so please take the poll now, and so this helps direct us. Sorry, it's going to take me just 2 seconds to make this connection, and there you go. So how is your day going, Toleen? How is it going this morning?
Today is actually good, relatively good. I'm one of those people, Dana, that I try to be as authentic as possibly can be. So you'll rarely see me, if I'm not having a good day, I tend to try and stay in and not really talk. But today is a really, really good day. I'm really excited to be engaging with people, like-minded people, and sharing in what really works. Yeah.
Well, good. We like good days. Good days are good. I mean, you're allowed to have bad days, but when they're good, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, Toleen, actually, so the questions are up here. So if participants and even your speakers yourselves, if you'd like to answer them quickly, this will be cool. Okay. It just takes a few seconds. Okay.
Okay. So we're answering them all together, right?
Yeah, you might as well, because it pertains to everyone, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Oh, some of these answers actually hit home. Toleen, this is scary.
Good day. Well, it's good. I'm actually I wanted to put the polls up a little bit earlier just to give our brain a chance to think through these questions as we start having our discussion today.
Oh, that's lovely. Well, I finished mine. I've been a good girl. So you can go ahead and speak while the everyone is getting up to it. And then,
Perfect.
And then Heba, when you have a moment or you see a little break in the conversation, is it all right if we give you the poll results?
Yeah, sure.
Fabulous.
Okay. So I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully, if you just give me a second, I'm going to do that and get to my presentation, if that's okay. I was testing there we go. Sorry about that. Okay. All right, guys. So today, what I'm working on, what I'm working with you on actually is to help you work on defining your vision. And if you recall, last time, whoever was there with us, you might remember these steps that we've talked about. We said that we want to overcome our mental blocks to unstop ourselves, want to create a vision. We want to set goals and milestones towards these vision, develop your self-discipline and consistency. And then of course, make these changes so easy that they just integrate naturally into your daily life and become really second nature. So, but what we plan to do today, and one of the things, this is sort of like a continuation of what we've spoken about last time. And what we're trying to do today is this. Now, there's not going to be something specific about us overcoming the mental block today per se, but I would be more than happy to engage in an individual conversation with any of you to help you through your own personal mental blocks. But the really fantastic thing about working on creating a vision, it really does take us through the process of overcoming our mental blocks, because when we are envisioning, when we're trying to look forward into our lives and where we really want to be, we can't help but come across our own mental blocks, our limiting beliefs, the things that we say we cannot, or we should not, or we must not. So naturally, as we develop that process of creating our own vision and really putting our destination forward, that's when we start to see that our mental block question always comes up and becomes very, very present in our day-to-day conversation, or in such a conversation. If you look at, I love always defining what we're talking about. So what is a vision? I love saying that a vision for me is your true north. It really is the true north. It's your destination. I follow in the footsteps of the late Stephen Covey and of course Simon Sinek, where they constantly talk about the vision. You see, the late Stephen Covey said, vision is seeing the future state in your mind's eye. So it's really very much, we look at vision as applied imagination. And, Simon Sinek was saying that vision is a destination, a fixed point in which we all focus our efforts. So in our life's journey, where things are often uncertain and we're not always sure where we are, kind of having our true vision really allows us to follow our path, to really decide where we're going to go and how we will go there. If you see in today's uncertainty, and this, for me, this is a perfect scenario for us to look at our vision, and how it gives us that crutch, that anchor that we need to minimize the uncertainty that we experience today. Nobody knows what tomorrow is going to look like, but having a vision, having our true north, having that real destination helps us a lot in minimizing the uncertainty of everything that's going on, because it's the light amongst the darkness. It's the star that's in the in a very, very dark sky, where really we follow it, and we try to minimize the fear that we can potentially experience. So when we look at that, and as you see, I started to answer a few of those questions, is why do we have a vision? Why should we even bother with something? So many people think that it's very professional and it's something very business-like, and it's something that really only maybe the conglomerates and the very rich that they do that. Really, visions are very much, they help us create. They are created from the why in our life. So the why is sort of like the soul of why, of what we are here to do. The vision is sort of the future of that, and the actualization of our why. So it's the reason we get out of bed. Many of us potentially in a day like this, in a time like this, can experience difficult days, become overwhelmed with what's going on. Our vision gives us that motivation to say, no, today is going to be a good day, despite of all the obstacles, or despite all the hiccups that we might experience. It is a focus, and focus is power for us. It's like the more we know where we're going, the more we're able to gain control over ourselves. It can potentially help us overcome anxiety, stress, and depression, because our expectations of where we're going can mirror the reality of what's going on with us. And without it, it's like we're like a ship without a pilot, without a plotted course. We see that we are going through life, and they always say, they're like, if you don't have a vision and if you don't know where you're going, you're going to get there pretty fast. So the idea is we don't want to be doing that, right? What we really, really want to be doing is having that moment in time. And it is, of course, it's an inspirational point in our life. It keeps us centered, and it just really does simplify our life, because it simplifies all our decisions. You start to align all your decisions based on your vision and where you aim to be. Now, in order to move us from there, and the questions and so why should we have a vision? These are the reasons. Now, how do we create that vision? There comes the question. So how do we create it? It's very much the questions that you were asking, but the only difference here is I would ask you to start digging a little bit deeper into these questions. So now when I say, when you were a child and unimpacted by the influence of others, what did you want to be? You know, the idea, you know, we have always had that. And I cannot emphasize enough how many times I've spoken to people that have grown through their life, and as they've taken different careers, when they finally found their calling, you sit and you ask them, and they always tell you, you know what, this is what I've always wanted to do when I was younger. Maybe not in the exact, maybe it wasn't in that much detail, but that's exactly how I wanted it to be. This is what I wanted to be giving into the world. So reflecting back on the child within, that before he or she were told, you cannot, you should not, no, that's not possible, no, when other people's limitations and obstacles got in the way, you know, that's the person that you want to seek to help you through this process. It is a very, and the next question, once you answer that question, you find yourself asking yourself, would I be willing to do that for free? And I know maybe sometimes I'm guilty of that I have people telling me, you know what, Toleen, I mean, you're a coach, you do this, you do so much. And, you know, and the thing is, we always do it. We impact our clients, but we also impact our community, family, friends, the society all at large. And we're always find ourselves that we operate from the mirror that we love so much. And that's where we ask ourselves is, am I willing to do this for free? If I know that this is going to give me happiness, as somebody told me, you know what, it doesn't matter, no matter what it is, we're never going to pay you money for that. Would you still want to do it for free? If the answer remains yes, it means you're so passionate about it and you love it so much, then your vision lies there. And if you can imagine yourself, and this is very, very important, in some cases they call it the rocking chair exercise. If you can imagine yourself at 100 years, you know, that's how old you are, and you look back in your life and you say, what legacy have I started? What legacy have I built? That particular exercise is so profound, but because what it does, it takes you all the way to when you're 100. You see at what you would like to have given the world, and it allows you to move back into your life. So it begins with the end in mind and allows you to move back into your life and make you ask the questions that follow that. What is standing in my way of creating this legacy? In many cases, it is us. It's our own mindset. It's how we perceive ourselves and what we can and cannot do. And the question after that, who do you have to become to get there, is pretty profound. Because I'm not asking you what skills. I'm not asking you what do you need to do. I'm asking you, who do you need to become to get there? Meaning you are version, you know, version, so like Toleen version 1.0. And who do you need to become? What new characteristics do you need to do? What limitations do you need to overcome? What new insights do you need to learn? All of these, it's a much deeper question than what do you need to do to become that person or to get there. And finally, what is the one thing that you can do today that brings you closer to this vision of what you want and what you want? So these questions, it's the one thing becomes the spark, because it becomes the one action that you're going to commit to doing today. It could be the smallest, the easiest, the cheapest, the fastest. It does not matter. It's just the idea of let's get started. So these questions, they start to instigate, they start to allow you to create how the outer skeleton and the outer framework of your vision, so you can start to fill in. Now, the really interesting thing is, and I quote Simon Sinek in this, we can only have one why, but we can have multiple visions. So our visions here become, of course, they cannot work against each other. So your personal vision and your family vision and your work vision and your health vision, all of these are long-term, really long-term big goals for you, but they sort of have to work harmoniously together. So we start to work on these. What I will be doing actually is I'll be providing CBC with a document that they'll send over to you for you, an email to you if you need them. And what you'll do is you'll start to work on that, and it helps you create your annual goal. So that becomes part of your vision work that you can create and you can start developing.
Thank you so much, Toleen. Should we give you the poll results? Should we give you the
Sure,
poll
yes,
results?
please do.
Yeah. That would be fantastic. And of course, you know, I'm going to go ahead and see if we can lure you into coming back for the other steps that we are missing so far.
Yes.
So that would be lovely. Okay. All right. So here you go. Can you see the poll results, or would you like me to read them?
Yes, I can. No, I can. You know what? I can. I'll go through them. It's actually quite interesting. I love. Okay, so we're looking at 46% of our participants saying something totally different. Wish I can recapture it. And you're not alone. You are all. That is something that many of us experience that. We want, and we've got 31% that say, I don't know. And this is in both situations, don't feel bad, because these are things that are workable. This is not something that will never, oh, I'm sorry, that's it, it's too late. No, these are definitely things that we can work through and we can develop. We have 88% that are doing something totally different, but they're happier now, and really well done, because that meant that you really went through this exercise. And 22% said exactly what I'm doing right now, which is fantastic. But for the grand majority, it's expected that this is potentially where the area that they're living in. So I would definitely encourage you into starting to think about this and think with a childlike mindset. Be creative. Don't worry about it. What are you willing to do for free? Okay, so 46 said, I would do something different. I could, you know what? Then let's work on that. Let's get you into that passionate state of mind. It's fantastic. 38%, they're exactly what they're doing right now. And 15% don't know. Again, don't worry too much if you don't know, because don't know is a good place to be at. And I'm more than happy to engage in a further conversation with that. All right, if you can imagine yourself at 100 years, already building it, fantastic, 46%. And 46% are on, it's on my to-do list, and I do my best whenever I can. Well done, really well done. And we're talking, that's a good question, never thought of it. That's, you know what? This is the time to think about it. Amazingly, nobody thinks of wondering what is a legacy, and that's amazing. What is standing in the way of creating this? Life seems to get in the way, get me where it wants. This is a conversation we need to talk about, because there lies in potentially one of the mental blocks that we have that we can work on. Because really the idea here is that it allows us to really stop and ask and say, but life gets in the way of everybody. So how can we allow life to do what it does, but without it interfering in our life? And finally, do you have to make changes to yourself to get there? Yes, 100%. And that makes a lot of sense, because we all need to make changes. And if there's one thing that you can do today that will bring you closer to this vision, what would it be? What would it be? Somebody said, yes, there is. And 54% said, I'm not sure. Again, I'm not sure is like, I don't know. And it means basically, let's go on a journey of adventure and discovery. And let's really find out what it is that is, that's one thing that we can do today, because it can be done. Well done, everybody. I really appreciate everybody's engagement and honesty and transparency in this process, because it really only will help you develop and really find that passion and that vision that you have. So my final thoughts is basically what I would do is say, these are the further questions that we want to ask as we start to develop them. And then you can work on, I'll just show you what this looks like. It's the annual goal setting. It's a 5-page document, not that difficult to engage in. We'll send it over to you, and you can develop it. It has my email address. Contact me if you feel like you have any questions or whatnot. More than happy to answer that. So if we look at Robin Sharma is somebody that I really, really like. And this quote resonates with me on so many levels. Don't live the same life for 75 years and call it a life. And the reason I use that is because every year we have the vision, and every year needs to be a continuation of the next one, of the one forward. So what is the theme of this year? And hence why this is an annual goal setting. how will it serve your ultimate purpose? And think about that. They have to, if you think about it, of one step leading to the next. What do you plan to achieve this decade? This decade is a bigger question, but if you don't want to go that far, ask yourself, what do you plan to achieve this year? By the end of the year, by December 31st, actually now we're in April, so let's say 12 months later, by April of 2021, what do you want to say I have achieved? That is that big thing that you wanna have. Who needs to be involved in them? Because we are social beings. We love the support. The more we have our star team, the more we can do more, the more we can aspire to be a lot more. And from there, we start to develop the value identification, because that's your voice. That is who you need to become to get to where you need to be. These are some of the questions. And again, these are questions, these are big questions that we ask, more, call them highbrow questions, and you can engage them. They help you to dig deeper and really reflect on yourself, on what's going on right now, allows you to create a proper inventory of how your life is going right now. This is not meant to make you feel bad about your life or anyway. This is, please, when you engage in this particular journey, avoid self-judgment, avoid self-criticism. This is not about, it's not a tally, it's not a competition. It's very much about, where have I been? And I really appreciate the journey that I've been, because it brought me to who I am today. And where do I need to be to keep going and to engage and become a better version of myself? So no judgment, make it a safe environment for you, exercise self-compassion. And the more you do that with open heart, open mind, and just be willing to take in the opportunities, just be willing to take in anything that the world, the universe is ready to give you, and start exploring, so you can really start discovering who you are. Once we get that particular exercise done and you really know what your vision is, it could be your annual vision, and then, you know, as you get more comfortable, you can then create a decade vision, and then you can create a life vision. And then the more you get more comfortable with this, the easier the rest of the other steps become, and setting goals becomes very much second nature to you. I really hope you found this very informative. And if you have any questions, do reach out. More than happy to hear from you. Would love actually to hear from you. And happy to answer any questions now and a little bit later.
Great. Thank you so much, Toleen. Actually, I don't have a question. I actually have a comment. So if you think about it, your last poll question was like, what was something to do, like, what was your first step, or what are you going to do today, or something? And a lot of people said, no, I don't know, or something like that. I think you're liars. I'm calling you all out. I'm calling you all out, because you do know. You signed up for the webinar to know more.
Wow.
So that was your first step. So sorry, I mean, you can, when we actually have non-physical distance, you can poke me in the back. What do you mean calling me a liar? But it's not, because sometimes it's our subliminal that actually helps us get over ourselves, and we go to that first step. It might be the first time too. You may not even ask questions because I'm not ready. You know, I don't want to put myself out there, but the next time you will. So just please, welcome yourself that. If you want to start with the Q&As, if you feel like asking other questions, or maybe we should just jump right into Rohit, and then we could do the questionings together. Sorry, there is actually something. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. I got to put those glasses back on. We've got a great comment. It says, love the conversation so far. Thank you so much. Okay, we've got. And I have a resource question. What would be the tool to use to get goals for a short term, say 3 months, 6 months, and then working towards a year, or in April 2021, sorry. Can you use the same resources, or can you use the same tools?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. You can definitely do that. I do have a smaller exercise for a 3-month vision. I'm more than happy to share that one. That's also good to use. Yeah. You can.
Yeah, that's actually an excellent comment, because maybe so, you know, personally, it depends how you want to take what chunks you want to take out of it. So it's all good. I think it's sort of like planning a big dinner party. So like the courses just come along. You're going, I think I'm going to do more. And then we take control. Then I was thinking, oh yes, of course yes, exactly. So thank you. Yes, she says, please do. It would help to take control now and thinking a year from now. Exactly. I think actually what I like, mine is just another comment then, and we actually will get to Robert, and that people can actually get more questions happening. My comment is I like the idea, because sometimes we don't tend to, maybe because of time or whatever, do not actually write down our plans. We just kind of leave them here. So it's actually nice to go back to look and you go, hey, I did that, pat, 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 or hey, I'm going to work forward to that. So thank you for that. Is so sweet of you, so kind of you, so human of you to share those tools. I really do appreciate it.
It's my pleasure, Diana. It's my pleasure. And I know one of the things you and I had talked, that eventually we are aiming that the next, I think, webinar of this, that we actually help people create their vision board, their annual vision board, which will have these 3-month goals and whatnot. So stay with us and come back, and we will help you develop a fun tool to do that. Sure.
Yeah, and then maybe hopefully eventually even get on to doing a proper course. I mean, let's put it this way: the isolation part has its benefits in the sense that the time that you would need to maybe go to a course, you can save to do a proper, webinar course online. So we could do something like that. Thank you so much. So you know what, I think we're going to take this moment and just go ahead, because I think that you are actually a great match for these common types of questions. We'll give people a couple more minutes. If you feel like actually saying your question, there is a hands up button, or just write in the chat, can I speak? And then I'll free up your microphones for you, okay? So that might make life easier. So there you go. So Rohit, can you actually hear me? Are you, you probably can hear me. You're in the background. I'm sure you're just waiting for a moment like this to happen. So I just want to say, Rohit, can you turn your screen on for me? Is that possible? Your mic, I can mic and screen. Are you there? There you go. Sorry, I'm still, like I told you, I'm on this other device, so I'm having a device moment, okay? So, no. Okay, I want to thank you so much again. We are so lucky to have two amazing speakers like this today. He is a world-leading educator and motivator for uplifting communication in your sales, teamwork, and leadership, which I think also could be uplifting in your everyday life too. That's just my add-in. Okay, he's actually going to thank you very much. He's going to share his unique practical insights, how to move forward in your career, business relationships, and life through the power of conscious communication. Okay, obviously, there's certain painful, life-changing events that's like happening. So he is here to uplift them with a communication, no matter what the situation. I've kind of, if you hear any likes or you see any page links that someone has hit on, it's probably been me, because I've had the luck of hearing, the comments. His audience tells him how he's passionate, charming, and he does speak from the heart. So that's why when we had we were so lucky to hear him speak at another occasion, and we reached out to him, he said right away, no problem. He would love to speak with us. And so he says he can, the crowds say he can move mountains. He's part of the National Academy of the Best-Selling Authors, a global conference speaker, TEDx speaker. I love TEDx. I could podcast TEDx till the cows come home. As I say, I just love listening to TEDx. That's my personal. And he's a premier mentor, trainer, and coach. He has 25 years of experience and has spoken over in 21 countries. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This is the man who's on a quest to ace your communication. So will you if we could all sort of clap, this would be the moment. So here you are, Rohit Bassi. Hi, Rohit. Sorry, it was a long spiel, but it was really worth it, and I'm so excited that you're here. So, so go ahead. What can we be expecting today?
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen for everyone. Just bear with me 1 minute. So I'll go through a simple, informative presentation to help everyone who's on this call. Just bear with me 1 minute.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah, we can see the screen now. So we're just waiting for the actual presentation. Wow, lots of presentations happening there.
Okay.
There we go.
So let's start. So everyone can see that?
It's perfect. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm just going to adjust my screen a bit. This is an amazing quote by Viktor Frankl. The more one forgets himself by giving himself to a cause to serve or another person to love, the more human he is. This is Viktor E. Frankl. Now, if you've not heard about Viktor E. Frankl, he's the man who wrote this book, Man's Search for Meaning. And he was in the World War II concentration camps. He lost everything in life, everything whatsoever. And one of the things which he realized while he was in the camp was people who were able to pass through that traumatic time is because they found meaning in their suffering. That's what they did. And for most of us, it's very difficult to say, how can we have meaning in our suffering? And this is one of the reasons why I started looking at what as a whole is known as conscious communication. And there are three things which I tend to do on a daily basis to be conscious about what I'm doing. You will see this during my presentations, you see it in my emails, you see it during my videos as well. And these are the three things which I tend to do. And that is literally, if my screen is not working, hold on a minute. Yeah, I say thank you, having an attitude of gratitude. The other thing is peace be with you. This is for myself or someone else. And amor fati. Amor fati literally means love your destiny, love your fate. And these are three tools which I use on a regular basis to uplift my consciousness, to be more conscious in the way I communicate with myself and with others. For those who are unaware of me, just to make it clear, name is Rohit Bassi. I focus on this domain called ACE, your communication. And you'll see what I mean by ACE of communication, which in simple terms means conscious communication. Now, let's look a little bit deeper into this. What is this all about? Well, there's a lot of people going around saying, hey, you got to have gratitude. You got to be thankful for what you want, what you have. We're lucky in this situation. Take it easy, have time to relax, spend time with your loved ones, which is absolutely fine. This is perfectly a good time. But then on the other hand, there's some people who are taking this to a big extent, to a very different level. And this is where the celebrity syndrome or the capitalism is coming into play, where this is a journalist, a columnist in The Guardian, Arwa Mahadwi. She said that, and this is just from one of her articles, which she said, the coronavirus crisis has exposed the ugly truth about celebrity culture and capitalism. The simple reason is, although we're in the same storm, we're all in the same storm, but we're all in different boats. Everyone is in different circumstances. Some are going through a lot of rough patches. Some of us are in a wreck. And the simple reason is it could be because of financial, it could be relation, it could be many things just multiplying all together. So yes, we're in the same storm. There's no question about it, but everyone is in different boats. And therefore we have to raise ourselves on a conscious level and see what's happening, not look at things from our perspective, but what's happening in other people's life as well. So for someone else to be gratitude might be very difficult at this moment, and harping about being gratitude is not helping them. So we need to be more compassionate towards these individuals as well. And especially people who are on a daily wage, that's a big, big issue because they can't stay home. What do you do with that? And when they do not have any government handouts, how do they live day to day? We all of us in Dubai, most of us are extremely, extremely lucky, extremely fortunate in the position which we are, even though we're at stay at home. But there are other people who are not, whose life are literally at a wrecking stage at the moment. Now, in simple terms, what that means is we're in a VUCA state. VUCA meaning volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. So uncertainty, crisis, if you join it all together, that's what they call is the VUCA state. Although I would like to say is when we look at this VUCA state, it is affecting our work. So people are getting redundant, people have, their jobs are being cut, businesses, some have been literally closed, and family life is being affected. So this is all what's happening through this situation which we're in. And what that in simple terms is people's health in terms of physical, emotional, mental is being affected. Relationships are being damaged as well. There have been cases across the globe where the domestic violence reports have increased. And obviously it's finances as well. So you can see we're in a very tough situation. And for some people, it's much, much tougher than some of us. And this literally means we're in unfamiliar territory. So as soon as we change this, our conscious communication, rather than saying it's uncertain, it's crisis, we need to survive, if we were to just twist it and change it to unfamiliar territory, that means we need to be more conscious of what's happening around us and around the people who are here. So we have this opportunity over here to see how we can actually pass through this unfamiliar territory. No one in this world is certain of what's going to happen. Life is uncertain anyways. And this is a time where we have immense uncertainty going on. So we are in what we are in is unfamiliar territory. In this time and moment, what we can do is look at how we can build our well-being, our resilience and trust. So this is as a whole, as an individual, what we can do. This is not about to do anything with business, but as an individual, as a community, what we can do for our well-being, our resilience and trust. On a business perspective, what can we do in terms of upskilling ourselves in terms of our sales, our teamwork, our leadership? And both of these require us to feel the fear and do it anyway. So yes, we are fearful of what's happening, but taking those small steps, and I'm not talking about massive actions, I'm talking about just taking small steps on a daily basis on how to move forward. Now, what that literally means is if you look at the work of Dr. Susan Jeffers, who wrote the book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyways, which I've been facilitating for over 9 years, what it means is taking yourself from pain to power. That's pain to power. And this is one of the exercises which you can do is about the different things in your life. It could be health, it could be relationship, it could be finances. You can draw up a scale from pain to power and see where you are on a daily basis and do small actions which can take you to that power point. Because when you're in the power point, you are enriching yourself and you start enriching other people as well. Now, what is conscious communication is a question which people keep on asking. There's different ways I could explain to you what it is. So I'm just going to show you briefly what this is all about. Now, Mahatma Gandhi, the father of the nation in India, he had his 3 monkeys, which were hear no evil, see no evil, and say no evil. So hear no evil, see no evil, and say no evil. Now, if you think about it, that is the crux of conscious communication. Let's go a little bit deeper of what it's all about. Now, this is a book by called The User Illusion. And in this book, and it's a very heavy book, it talks about intellect is only conscious of between 15 to 20 bits of information per second out of millions in reaction below its awareness. So what we do on a daily basis, the information is we're only conscious about 15 to 20 bits of information because a lot of the things are happening under us. So this whole book is based on the study by Professor Benjamin Libet. And what that means is what we think we're doing consciously is not necessarily what we're doing conscious. We are not fully aware of what we're doing in terms of our thoughts, our feelings, our actions. Now, what needs to be very, very clear about conscious communication is that it is not about competition. It is about collaborating. So just collaborating with each other. It is not about fake it till you make it. It's about face the situation, faith it, and you will make it. And finally, it's not about the hustle. Hustle means to swindle and cheat. It's simply getting to focus. Yes, you can have diversifications, but focus on what you're doing, whatever you're doing. So if you look at the word conscious, it means knowing or being aware. So you're aware and you know what's happening. So awareness of one's environment, existence, feelings, thoughts, and actions. So you're aware, 100% aware of your environment, your existence, feelings, thoughts, and action. And most of us are not, because if you look at the user illusion based on search, we are not in that situation. So we have to raise our consciousness. If you look at communication, it means sending or receiving information or message. So it's a transformation of information. Now, when you combine the both together, what conscious communication means, this is a definition which I've come up. When you communicate to cultivate a nature of serving, supporting, collaborating for the growth of each other by mutually enriching relationships. So whoever you're talking with, whoever you're dealing with, are you serving, are you supporting, and are you enriching each other's relationship, each other's life? And this goes with business as well. It's just not about life, it's business as well, and the work which we're doing. Now, in what this as a whole, I call it ACE your communication. ACE your communication, which is conscious communication, literally means amplify your awareness, your consciousness, and your energy. How I came across this was through this wonderful teacher of mine. His name is Dr. Segu Ramesh, and he's got a book called Awakening the ACE, Awareness, Consciousness, and Energy. And I wanted to see how I can bring this on a day-to-day basis. He's a medical doctor. He's based in Dubai. I talk to him on a regular basis. I've done a number of webinars with him over the past 1 month. But you can easily get into contact with him. Wonderful person who led me to this path of awareness, consciousness, and energy. What it means on a day-to-day basis is amplify your awareness for a given situation and relationship, whatever situation, be it with your family member, be it with work, or be it with someone else, be aware of what's happening around you. Cultivate a consciousness with your message. What that literally means is, how are you communicating in terms of your words, in terms of your body language, and even what's going in your internal thoughts when you're talking to other people. Engage in using energy in action that moves you forward. So using words such as crisis, survival is not going to help any one of us at the moment. It basically lowers our energy. Think about the word survival, we start sinking down. So instead of saying, how do I survive this moment? How about changing it to moving your energy? How could I possibly strive and thrive during this moment? It's just a small tweak. This is what all consciousness is all about, is being more conscious in the way you're communicating with yourself and with others. Another doctor, which is Dr. David Hawkins, came up with map of consciousness. And again, if you look at this particular doctor, the way he looks at it, he created a scale. We are either in a fearful state or we are in a loving state. If you look at the lower states, if you look at it, it literally says shame, guilt, anger, pride. These are all fearful states. So we sink ourselves. So we're not in a conscious state. But as soon as we go into courage, this is where the change happens. Move into courage, we go into more of a loving state. And in simple terms, that means is if we are in a fearful state, not in a conscious state, we are contracted. We get more and more stressed. And so we need to be aware on a second by second, minute by minute, are we in that fearful state or are we in that loving state? Because that loving state is going to help us on a day-to-day basis. I'm not talking about 1 year, 2 year, on a day-to-day basis, help us. And imagine if we're doing this on a day-to-day basis, 1 year from now, 2 years from now, how beautiful one's life would be and how everything would be for you, no matter what the situation. So Lao Tzu, in simple terms, says this means is mastering others is strength, but mastering yourself is true power. And that means being more conscious, being ace with your communication. And ace with your communication means not with just someone out there, but with yourself as well, what's happening inside. I said during the description when Diana asked me, okay, what do you want to talk about? I said, I'll talk about the 3 C's of conscious communication. I thought about it, no, I'm going to actually give you 7 C's of conscious communication. And the 7 C's are literally, if you look at it, is clarity. Toleen spoke about having focus, having clarity. Now, clarity doesn't mean that I have to have clarity for the next 1 year, 6 months. It could be the situation we are in, the unfamiliar territory. It could be clarity 1 minute at a time, 2 minutes at a time, 1 day at a time. Because for many people, it's very tough. Having compassion for yourself and other people is very, very crucial. Care and kindness is very, very important at this moment in time. Simple example of this is I called up one of my investments. This is one of my properties. And I asked, look, I need some help in regards to some of the payments. And yes, they said, yes, we can do that. Not a problem. I said, will you be charging me interest in this time where I've gone on this holiday period? And they said, no, we won't be. I called another organization for another one of my other properties about the mortgage. And they said, yes, we can go give you a holiday period, but you will, once a holiday period is finished, you still have to pay the extra interest. And I was like, hold on 1 minute, you do realize what the situation is at the moment? They said, no, this is our policy and that's it. So how can we be compassionate? Compassion, this is, I'm talking about on a business perspective, but on a day-to-day basis, what can you do in terms of compassion? One of the things which I'm doing is if I go out to get my groceries, I will go and get some fruits, drinks, and other goodies for the security guards. They are doing an amazing job taking care of us. So giving compassion towards them. The third is competency. What are you doing about your skills and knowledge at this current in time? If you cannot go on a payable online learning program, there is ample amount of free information out there from speakers, trainers, institutes, which you can use to upskill yourself. See, the next one is courage. How are you being courageous? Courageous in the terms of, are you willing to be vulnerable? So vulnerability is something, it's not a matter of you breaking down and crying, but are you willing to be honest with what's happening with you inside? If you are in pain, admit to it, acknowledge it. This is going to help you move. Next is connection. How are you connecting with people around you? And I'm talking now, we can't do face-to-face meetings. We can't do, we can only do these webinars or other calls through online. I'll give an example again. I'll take myself for example. When this started, and for me, it started on the 20th of February. And by the 5th of March, it was very clear for me what was happening, that literally all my business got wiped out. All my business got wiped out because clients called that said, look, we're in a very tough situation. The COVID is stopping our business. And so we cannot take your services currently. Now, I could stop over there and stop connecting with them. No, I'm still connecting with them. And it's not a matter of that I want to get a business with them. It's just, I just genuinely want to know how are they doing? Is there any way I can help with them? And I've created enough content for them so they can take that with them and apply it to their life, to the business, to their relationships. Conviction. Conviction is stronger than confidence. It's great to have confidence, but moving forward, have conviction in whatever you're doing. It could be anything which you're doing, just have that conviction, that belief, things are possible, they're infinite possibilities. And be committed to whatever you need to do. Committed to your family, to your relationships, to your health, to the finances, just be committed. So those are the 7 C's. What in simple terms, if you look at it as in one question is, are you willing to take 100% responsibility of your thoughts, emotions, experiences without blaming? So 100% responsibility. Yes, we know there is a tough situation, it's unfamiliar territory, but are you willing to take 100% responsibility for yourself? But when you do that, it's easier to assist other people and help other people. If you look at the news, you will see there's blame game going from one leader to other. It's their fault, and there's a lot of hodgepodge happening. And these are organized, these are leaders and institutes which we think about, can we trust them or not? And the conspiracy theories flying around everywhere. So it's like, we don't know what's really going on. It's uncertain. So we have to take 100% responsibility for our thoughts, our emotions, our experiences without blaming anyone else out there. And this means you need to connect the heart, the brain, and the hand. So the heart, the head, and the hand. So the heart is the emotions, the brain is the intelligence, so connect that, and the hands represent the actual actions you need to take. And this could be small, small actions. We're not talking about massive actions over here. The small actions will amount to the massive actions which you want to do. But start with the small actions, and that's about connecting the heart, the head, and the hands. That's what we need to focus on, and that's what conscious communication allows you to do. Now, many people are unaware of what my family life is, and I deliberately bring this picture up because in this situation, I've had some comments, hey Rohit, you're single, it's easy for you, we've got family to take care for. You know, we've got our finances to take care for. You know, it's easy for you. I just take it with a pinch of salt because it's untrue, because that's not the reality. What you see here is my family. The lady in the middle is my beautiful half. And those are my two kids. And when I look at them, there's only one thing which I remind myself is to smile. And this is what I have been helping other people through some of the coaching sessions, some of the talks, complimentary talks, which I've been doing, is learn to smile. So what do I mean? And the reason why I'm able to apply this is because I'm looking at conscious communication over here, being ace with your communication. What that literally means is serve and support. What can you do to serve and support yourself and the community around you? It's just not about you, it's serving and supporting yourself and the people around you. Mesmerize. Stay in focus. So that means whatever you're doing, be it for 10 minutes, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, learn to get into focus in that moment. Allow yourself to be in the flow. So mesmerize yourself within whatever you're doing. It could be with your exercise. It could be with your work. It's maybe you're just sitting out in nature. Whatever you're doing, just mesmerize yourself in it. Be in spirit. Reflect on who you are as an individual. See what has triggered you. There are people who love to socialize, and they're finding this time extremely difficult. For me, it's not that tough because of the 9 years, I would say I've been in isolation because of the work which I do. I go to clients, I do my talks, I come back home and I do my research. That's what I do. I like my time. So I'm quite comfortable with it. But a number of people who are extroverts or who are very outgoing, very socializing, they're finding it very difficult to be with their inner self. The next is be in a state of living. For many years, I mean, I think it's been going for a long time, and many speakers, coaches talk about have a goal, have a goal, have a goal. It's great to have goals. It's amazing to have goals. But what's happened is in this life which we're living, we've just become goal orientated. We stopped being a living person. What I mean by that is we stopped being a human being. We're just human doing. We're a human doo-doo. We are not human beings anymore. So that's what we need to be, is in a state of living. And energy, how are you using your energy on a day-to-day basis? What are you doing? Are you using your energy to move forward? Or are you going into the past? Or are you way in the future? Stay in the present. Yes, there are going to be times when you are going to feel down. Look at one of the C's in conscious communication. It talks about connection. Make connections with the people who you trust, who you can feel comfortable to, and have the courage to tell them that I'm going through a tough time. That's useful use of your energy rather than actually blocking yourself completely from the rest of the world. So those were the 7 C's of conscious communication. And this is what SMILE is, to build that well-being, that trust, and that resilience. And that's for me, finished for the session. Any questions from anyone, please do let me know.
Well, thank you so much. What was my take-home message? Well, lots of take-home messages, was the fact that I'm so happy that you said that we're not all in the same boat. I have been saying that for the last little while myself too. The idea that this is a storm, and it is. Some people have a tree to be under the storm. Some people are in a house. Some people don't have a house. I'm so happy to say that. This is so important that we know that it takes so little to be human, and actually remember that there are people out there. I'll just use an example. There's so much Instagram at the moment where some people are showing what their everyday lives are like. And, you know, they're just, it's almost like they're showing that they have a house, there's a little pool in the garden, they're relaxing, they have whatever food they need, they have it all. So it's so lovely to see that you have seen, and you're telling people that there are people that are really suffering right now. And it would be just be nice if we could, not nice, it would be just correct if we were correct with people. So genuine. So thank you so much, Rohit. There are quite a few questions. There's one question: how would you suggest we manage between vision, goal, action plan versus smile, leaving someone without a to-do list?
Okay, so let me make it very clear. When I say living something without a to-do list, I'm not talking about doing a do list. Look at the situation we're in. Many of us are saying, I'm getting calls from people, I'm bored. And I'm like, are you really, really bored? Are you really serious? You're bored? There's so much you can do around the house, such as you can exercise. Look, I'm not a big fan of exercise, but there's something which you can actually take care of yourself. That's actually boosting up your energy, so that you're living in that moment, being in that present. Now, if you look at from a work perspective, yes, there are people and I'm in many ways in a similar situation, is that financially there are some challenges. So on a day-to-day basis, I just sit down, I reflect on what are the possibilities out there for me to do something which is going to help someone and which is going to allow me to get some income through. Yep. Now I'm doing complementary stuff. There is some paying stuff coming as well, but I'm not looking at it from perspective, I got to have a I got to do this, and this. I'm being very self-compassionate with myself and doing whatever's necessary for that day, for that moment, because this is a time where it's for people, they will get up there. The people who've been calling up, they said, Rohit, I got up at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. I said, okay, that's fine. Shouldn't I feel guilty about it? Shouldn't I feel guilty about it? I feel shameful. Now, if I look at Dr. David Hawkins' scale of map of consciousness, as soon as you're in that guilt and that shame, you're in a fearful state. So the only thing I say is, what is that one thing you can do for yourself that could lift you up into a loving state? Just that one thing. So it could be just get out of bed and make up your bed. If you get out of bed and you don't want to make your bed, at least go and brush your teeth, wash your face. It's just a small action. So this is what I mean by living. You can't have a do-to list. It's not about, life is not about doing. We are human beings. We're meant to be in the flow with everything around us, which we are not, because we're running after things.
Sorry. Fantastic. There actually there was a hands up from Heba. So Heba, Ahmad, I opened up your mic. So if you'd like to talk, that would be lovely. Go ahead.
Hi, good morning. Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Hi.
Hello.
Good morning.
Sorry, I didn't know my mic was on. I just wanted to say hello to the fellow Canadians and thank you so much for allowing us to have a way to tune in somehow. So I've been enjoying these webinars quite frequently. Thank you for that and for our speakers today. I really do enjoy TED Talks, Rohit, and so you spoke very eloquently about your way of consciousness and communication, and I love that you brought the fact about being too goal oriented. And there's a quote that I have, actually it's a Facebook banner of mine like many years ago, and it is, in between goals is a thing called life that has to be loved and enjoyed. And I love that quote because it's not saying to put aside these goals that we want to have. So sure, set some goals. And I think it was Sid, I forgot his last name, but it's such a great quote. And I'll put it up on the screen just because I think it's one that I just remembered. I don't want to dismiss goals, and I'm struggling with my today goal, like today versus 1 month versus 3 months. And so I think the key in this time, and this is just something I think, I'm not sure if everyone feels the same, but it's really about adapting to today, adapting to the situation on a day-to-day basis, and being resilient to this COVID situation. And I don't think in our lifetime, my lifetime certainly, that I've experienced something that we're so globally together with. And I think it's empathetic if we use, our human nature, which I think is inherently good. And I think that way because it sort of allows you to care for others and be more kind to others in this situation that we're all facing together. So all I wanted to say is thank you for mentioning that we're not just goal oriented, and that really hit home for me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I think both Toleen and both our speakers today have actually said quite a lot about that. And then I totally agree with your banner. It sounds wonderful. Please send it to us. Maybe we could send it out to everyone too. Thank you, Heba. That's lovely.
No problem. Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Take care, love. We do have another question here. It says, I feel I learn a lot more from a difficult life than from a relaxed life. Shouldn't life always be a learning experience regardless of the state? Is it the stress causing us to learn more?
When I look at it is, when certain things are happening, like when we're in a fearful situation, when we're in a stressful situation, it's a learning for us to uplift ourselves. That means our consciousness is gone down. We need to lift ourselves up again. We are in our lower self rather than in our higher self. So yes, this experience is helpful. And every time we go down into that stressful situation, into that fearful situation, that means we are not conscious of what's happening around us. The moment we start raising ourselves, we are more conscious about how we behave with ourselves and how we start behaving with ourselves. So there are experiences, it's 100% a learning experience, and some of those experiences can be extremely painful, and some of those experiences can be extremely expensive.
Well, I think that, hope that answers pretty much the question. For me, it seems it does. If there's any more questions out there, because we're going to tie up pretty soon, since you might want to get back to your families, your coffee, or, maybe you're working at home or taking some time out. If there's any, maybe let's start maybe with Rohit, if there's some kind of, maybe, I don't want to say take home message or something. I mean, we're going to be giving you all the links to all our speakers so you can get in contact with them. And I'm once again putting it out there that thank you so much, because I'm really looking forward to having you back when I want to say when it gets back to normal, but this is normal too, by the way. It's a different type of normal, but it is normal too. So, but I'm hoping that we can have you back, because this is such a lovely sharing tool, and you are today. You have all given back. Those just by attending, those by speaking, those just by taking the time out, because this is our way to give back. So maybe there's something, Rohit, I'll start with you and then we'll tie up with Toleen. Is there something that maybe that comes to mind that you just want to say as a take-home message, I guess?
Okay, for me, the take-home message is literally ace your communication, awareness, consciousness, and energy. And the easiest way to start with that is have gratitude. Be grateful for whatever is possible. I'm talking about even for a glass of water, be grateful for that. Even for the fact that you are safe and secure. Even for the fact that your loved ones are safe and secure. So just have that gratitude. And a lot of people will talk about being gratitude. Take a piece of paper, start writing out what is your gratitude. It's not necessary. Everyone is unique. We have to remember that. And everyone has their own formula of doing it. The commonality which I see in majority, I'll say all of us, is when we go into the state of gratitude, we start uplifting ourselves. It can be for the smallest of all things. And gratitude can actually get your vulnerability out and release all the pain as well. That's the beauty of gratitude.
Yeah. Yes. makes total sense. Well, thank you so much, Rohit. I'm so happy. Give our regards to your family and the family that you choose for yourself. Okay. If you have any spare time, you know, you can either watch our webinars or be part of our webinar whenever you love, whenever you like. We'll be sending up a follow-up, obviously, with this information. Toleen, we have the lovely quote again. We've got from one of our, sorry, there's so many buttons on this device, so I'm just going to have to stop using it. The quote again from Heb Ahmed, it was, in between goals is a thing called life that is to be loved and enjoyed, from I want to say Caesar. I hope I'm saying that correct. So that makes tons of sense. Toleen, do you mind coming on for a second? And then unfortunately, I'm going to have to say goodbye just for the day. Okay. Toleen,
No
is there something
I'm here.
I'm here. Yeah, you're here. So isn't that amazing? You guys it was such a combination. So, and you yourself, is there something you want to add on, take home, or something you'd like to follow up with?
Honestly, I think so much was said today from both. I think Rohit and I both kind of spoke. I would like to, I believe we spoke the same message. It's, you know, one fills in the other, if that makes sense. I am a little bit more of the school of thought that, you know, in discipline, there is freedom. There is the ability to enjoy life a little bit more. There's the ability to see more and create that sense of self-awareness, because the more we're able to create that sense of self-awareness, we become a lot more aware of the environment around us. Hence my, I suppose my passion when it comes to seeking your purpose and your vision, and, you know, and all of that. And then really the word goal, which I understand a lot of people, especially at this time, they feel it carries a heavy weight on them. It's more of, you know, what is that one tiny thing that you will do today to help you just move you a little bit forward, make you feel, you know, that you are bringing out the best in you. So I believe that really is the message that I would say, is always aspire to bring out the better version of yourself tomorrow. And that could be through gratitude, through goals, through visions, through compassion, all of it. Just make sure that it always is in the environment of development, of betterment, and not of judgment and shame and guilt and fear. Really do it from a sense of self-love, because there lies in the growth.
Amazing. Well, and that's what I loved about both of you, because it was similar and little bit different techniques, which shows that we all need similar and a little different techniques to arrive. Again, be kind to yourselves. I'm very proud that you stepped up, all of you, for watching and attending today and speaking. The CBC and all our members and sponsors, thank you. This will be an ongoing type of thing. And basically, thank you very much. Thank you, all the participants. Hope to see you soon. I hope to see you soon. And for now, we'll keep in touch. Okay, take care of yourself. Don't forget, CBC has your back. We're the voice for all our members. Okay, take care. Have a nice day.
One more thing is,
yes,
I'm going to give you the link for this. So I've got a book called Living Through Self-Compassion, which is currently available free, the ebook copy. So I'll share the link with you, and you can share it across all of CBC.
Grazie. So that was my Italian in me. Grazie.
All the other members, you can send them across it too.
Oh my goodness. I am truly grateful. They will be too. Thank you so much. I really want to have you back, both of you. And if you'd like to do it together, separately, whatever, we have the time. And again, remember, these will be recorded. So those of you that cannot attend, please sign up anyway, because you can get the recordings afterwards. Okay. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Toleen. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Sangeeta. Thank you, Heba, for helping us. Heba's in the background. Sangeeta's taking care of everything there too. Have a nice day. Ciao.
Bye. Stay safe, everyone. Ciao. Bye.
Stay safe. Ciao, ciao. Bye-bye.